My name is Johannes Grenzfurtner and I'm part of Monochrom.
Johannes, why don't you tell us your biggest possible concept for RoboExotica?
The biggest possible context, you mean, or a concept?
Both.
Both. Okay. I mean, we at Monochrom are context hackers, I would say. So, I mean, the biggest possible context is still a context too small to hack. So, RoboExotica is the festival for cocktail robotics. So basically, I mean, that's a very ironic idea, and many people laugh about it and say, come on, why are you doing a festival about cocktail robotics? I mean, why? And then we say, I mean, it's basically a really funny idea, but you can pack a lot of serious information and stuff and philosophy into the concept of RoboExotica. So we have many people from all over the world, from the technical sphere and from the philosophical sphere, geeks, as well as cultural researchers who come together and think about this strange idea of cocktail robotics. And robotics itself is a rather, I would call it, anachronistic thing, because in the 60s, I mean, they were prognosticating, like they said that like in the year 2000, everyone would have like a artificial brain at home and whatever, yeah. And nowadays, I don't even believe that my toaster is working correctly all the time. So what happened to this, let's call it future of the past? Yeah. So what happened to it? And that's, I think, a little bit of like, maybe we want to save the concept of robotics. Because nowadays robots are working in big factories, welding together auto parts and stuff like that. But where are the robots in everyday life? I mean, we have all cell phones, we have all stuff that works like, and somehow came out of the cybernetic research of the 50s and 60s. And of course, out of the military complex. You see, like, the internet is a product of the military complex. But it's really interesting to see that you can have a hands-on perspective on technology and on philosophy. So many people here are not like technical freaks. They are just like people who are really interested in doing interesting stuff. Some of them are researchers, some of them are just like making interesting stuff like as part of their like hobby sphere or whatever. So, and it's fine to walk around and to see that so many different people from so many different backgrounds are building machines here and talking about the machines and interacting with the audience. So, and that's a really interesting and important part of RoboExotica, because it's hands-on. Most of the people who built something or had discussions or took part in the conference are actually all the time around here in the exhibition in Museums Quarter in the Freiraum. And so constantly, if I'm walking around, somewhere you hear interesting discussions. Some of them are just about, why is there only orange juice in this cocktail and I want cranberry juice in it. But some discussions are like a little bit, let's call it like deeper. They discuss about like Turing engines or stuff like that. Because we have a couple of different fields. We have serving cocktails, mixing cocktails, lighting cigarettes, bar conversation and stuff like that. So actually, if you talk about a robot that has to do bar conversation, you're basically talking about artificial intelligence research. And then, of course, you talk about how it failed and why it failed. And suddenly you have a non-working bar conversation robot, and you discuss about the scientific developments of the 60s and 70s and how it formed popular culture and stuff like that, yeah.
That's interesting that you're wanting to restore a more human, social, populist access to the concept of robotics. And I had never thought until this minute that the idea of personal robotics for everyone, might actually die out.
Yeah, and I think on the one hand that's good, because I think it was like a wrong perspective to think about the future of technology. Because I mean, personal robotics, what does it mean? like you have like a small robot that cleans your floor or whatever. I mean, that could be personal robotics. I mean, the biggest like digital revolution in the last 20 years was personal computing.
Yeah.
So, and out of personal computing, a lot of the stuff here around like results. I mean, without personal computing, we wouldn't have like small programmable like chips that, for example, are used in a machine like the RoboMochi and stuff like that. So I think the most important thing is communication. And as long as communication works, and as long as there are interesting things to discuss about, there will be some kind of, let's call it progress. I don't believe in progress, because progress is a highly like theological concept, I would say. It always goes onto like the utopia, stuff like that. But the utopia, there is no utopia. Utopia is the non-place. And I don't really believe in techno-utopism. I think that technology can solve some problems, but not all of them. And if you believe that technology can actually solve the big problems of society, then I think that's not correct. It can help a lot. I mean, it can really stimulate creativity. I mean, if you see like a simple concept like Flickr or YouTube, where you can put your photos and your videos online, like really like stimulated a lot of creative process in the last couple of years. And there are many people exchanging and interchanging and sending comments about pictures and stuff like that. But I won't like, there's, of course, that doesn't change society. I mean, it may, well, or maybe not. Maybe it changed society, but as long as we have like restrictive copyright laws and stuff like that, there is always like a ceiling floor to create to change society, and I think we have to get like a higher ceiling, let's call it.